Hey, good up. No, I'm just kidding.
See how you let it be?
I'm just messing with you, man.
Yo, it's your boy, Slay Rico, with my boy Nico right here. We didn't do the intro like we were supposed to last time. It was really subdued.
What time?
The one we just did.
Last one?
Yeah, just
What was the intro supposed to be like?
supposed to go with the yo, Nico, Rico, yada yada yada.
Oh, saying
Yeah, see, come on, man. We gotta keep branding. So hey,
a lot of things in my mind.
welcome. Hope you guys have been doing well. So what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna bring a little love and a little bit of thunder. And I haven't watched it yet, but my man right here, who is MCU and fascinated, we're gonna go with that. So cheers. How you want to start it? All right, so let's break it down first. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe representation of Thor. Okay, there was the first movie Thor.
You've seen Ragnarok, right?
That was the third one, right?
Yeah.
There was first Thor, then there was the Dark World,
where he fights the Dark Girl, the Dark Elves.
Then it was Ragnarok, and then there was the most recent one was his Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay, so I have seen the first Thor. I try not to really remember the second Thor. Love the third Thor, which is Ragnarok, which this is where it should have ended naturally, but yeah, I did kind of, yeah. And then there was Love and Thunder, which I have not seen. So I'm not here to really talk about the last movie. I'm here to talk about the cinematic universe and the problematic life that Thor has had. You want to start with it, or you want me to roll with it? I've said a lot already.
Well, I watched Thor: Love and Thunder, unfortunately.
Dang.
Richardo hasn't seen it, but I told him I can just spoil the whole movie for him. He won't be harmed by it anyway.
Okay.
So this is what happened with Thor as an actual MCU character himself. At the beginning, they tried the first Thor movie. It was great, but it wasn't the best. It didn't click the best with people.
Okay.
They tried another director for the Dark World, which is the second movie, and the director didn't get as much leeway in making decisions in the movie.
Trash.
And they involved a bunch of people. Everyone knows that movie was trash. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. They pretty much only did it for contractual things and
further the storyline
and to put an Infinity Stone in it. That was the whole reason. The villain, the villain was horrible, had no reason.
Don't even recollect the villain.
Natalie Portman, it's not her fault, but I'll say Jane Foster. Jane Foster was absolutely horrible. No one gave a crap about her. The only highlights about that movie was Frigga dying and the Infinity Stone being introduced. That's it.
And a little bit more Loki.
And you got more Loki, after what happened in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So the first two movies didn't work. The first one was okay, but it was certainly not as good as Iron Man or the Captain America first one.
It was
not at all. And it should have been at least just as good, because this is the damn God of Thunder. So you're living Earth now. So it should have been better.
It should have been better.
At the very least, it should have been the same.
It should have been better.
Just as good.
Yeah, because when Thor entered into when it came to Avengers, that classic scene where he actually comes down and when they're transporting Loki, Iron Man and Captain America, and he comes down and he takes Loki from them, right?
Oh, in the Avengers.
That was like the best way to introduce him in the Avengers. Like, oh man.
Who, Thor?
Thor.
Oh,
yeah, and then when he and Iron Man squared off, and
I felt like America got in between, silly, but it was good.
No, that was a great fight. When I'm talking about that, they're hitting each other and everything's ricocheting, like the angles of ricocheting. That fight was actually better than when Iron Man fought Bucky, Winter Soldier and Captain America at the same time. Yeah, Infinity War.
Oh man, you're drunk as hell.
Man, hey,
I'm gonna take this drink.
I just felt like that was because it was more Titans. They were Titans.
No,
they were still Titans.
You mean to tell me that the fight between Iron Man and Thor was better than the fight between Iron Man versus Captain America and Bucky?
Look, listen. There's two different ways.
High as hell.
We're getting off subject, but that was a more open fight with Titans.
The Avengers one.
The Avengers fight. That was a more open fight. You literally got Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. Three big names. Listen, 3 big names. and they were crossfire, right? Mjolnir, the Captain America shield. Come on, it was clashing, baby. Now the other fight when it was when Civil War, you literally saw it was the Winter Soldier and Captain America versus Iron Man. It was a handicap match, and it was close. It was close quarter, and you realize two things in that whole situation. Tony Stark really can't fight, but Jarvis can fight because it was the suit that did everything.
Yeah, the suit did.
Suit did everything, right? But
Iron Man is more of a character of.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is. But I will say in regards to I think that his when he came into the Avengers movies, that was a better representation of Thor. It was a better presentation of who
if you think about it, Thor has done better in the movies that aren't his.
Yeah, other than Ragnarok. Yeah, he has a better presentation somewhere else. Because even in the Avengers movie,
I think Ragnarok is the best movie that he's had.
Yeah,
I mean his movies,
hands down.
I would say so. Yeah, and then second place maybe the first Thor.
Yeah, well,
I like that.
I would say his best movie, his best presentation, hands down, is the Avengers. Then Guardians of the Galaxy. Then Ragnarok.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he was calling yes.
When?
How do they know each other?
Huh? I mean, Infinity War.
All right, that's how they know each other.
Yeah.
When he traveled out.
Guardians of the Galaxy in their two movies, they've only been with them. They haven't
done a third one. Oh, so he met them when he was doing the Forge. Yeah, see, I don't know enough about the way to be found.
Met them in Infinity War. So anyway, the Dark World was the second Thor movie was BS.
Trash.
And then so they said, okay, well, the first movie wasn't as good as it should have been, which it was all right. It just had a horrible villain, but it was good. The second movie was even worse than the first one. So let's change things up. That's when you got Ragnarok. Ragnarok was great. It was the best movie I think he's had.
Yeah,
even then and now.
Because they actually, you know why? I think, and you can disagree with me if you feel like, I think they allowed Thor to really be more Chris Hemsworth's character. They allowed Thor to really more resemble him than him try to resemble Thor.
I don't give a crap about Chris.
But
I care about Thor.
But Thor, we understand what Thor is in the comic world. Thor is real old school. He's like real old English Norse mythology, right?
I love that about him.
Yeah, but a character has to embody him, and that's why I love about Robert Downey Jr. bring his energy to Iron Man. I love that Samuel L. Jackson brings his character to Nick Fury, right? Yeah. I love when a character brings their energy to the actor or actress brings their character to brings their personality to the character. And was his name Tom Hiddleston? Who's Loki? Yeah, man, that is still is Loki. Actually. That's a great combination. You see, when you try to force people into these archaic characters, it doesn't really, especially when it comes to the villains.
But do you think that Chris Hemsworth is like a great Thor?
He's a great Thor when he's allowed to be himself. When he was in the first movie, when he was in the first movie, he was flailing around like he was drunk, hammer and all that. He just seemed like that wasn't him.
Which one in Endgame?
In the first movie. When in the first movie, he was kind of like old English.
Oh yeah.
You know, when he came back and he got cast down to earth and he was calling out
and he lost Mjolnir.
Yeah, Mjolnir. He just seemed clumsy, right? And he was like an alien. Oh, well, I've never had pancakes. It was just kind of like, okay, all right. Second movie was I can't remember. Third movie.
Because no one gives a crap about the second movie.
Look at it, like when he knew who Hulk was, even in Avengers, when Hulk was like hit him, like punched him, puny god, and he was more playful. When you could see him laugh, you can actually see him more serious. Like when you got to see him in Ragnarok and Hulk ran out, which was like Planet Hulk, and they fought. And one of the first things you saw him do was he was laughing, like, "Oh, I know him from work. Yeah, I know him from work." Seeing him energetic and happy and involved in the character, and it made it to where it made a lot of sense. When we saw Fat Thor and he had to go through the training, it made Thor relatable. It made Yes, we understand he's a god.
Because he was guilty, because he could have avoided the blip, but he didn't. I mean, he didn't know, obviously.
True. Valkyrie.
So it's okay.
Valkyrie's character. Heimdall. We understand.
Oh, I love
we
that.
understand him being stoic. We understand him being stoic. We understand him. We understand Valkyrie having a little bit of abrasiveness, but she's very true. We understand Odin being the way he is. We understand Thor's mother being the way she is. Thor's character in the later part of the series got to really be himself. He got to be flexible. He could give up the reins.
Boy, you really need to watch this movie,
man.
I think I'll watch the movie again. I can't watch it in like regular. It's gotta be IMAX or digital, because I legit couldn't even hear much.
Oh, word. And that's the big thing about like when we see big things, like when he made Stormbreaker and how happy he was. It was man, in Avengers, it was the biggest thing. We knew it was coming, but when Captain America was able to pick up Mjolnir, or when he was able to call Mjolnir, and how happy Thor was, we could relate to that, because we literally
Captain America holding Mjolnir was.
Think about it. We literally got the opportunity to not only feel the joy of seeing that moment for Captain America. We could relate to Thor being like, "What, man? You see that? Yeah, I see that." We could relate with a character in a movie. That was the thing about Thor that I think is what works for him. That's why his relationship with the Guardians of the Galaxy, it
they're all like in that sense. Yeah.
They're all like, but when you try to confine him to being the comic book character, it's boring. He ain't Blade.
I think there's a way they can pull off the comic book character being great, because at the end of the day, this is a god. So make him a god. That's good. He can be a funny god, but don't make. Oh, you haven't seen the movie. The Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh, well, we were on the second one. I'll get to Thor: Love and Thunder. And then on Ragnarok, they wanted to try something different. So they called in Taika Waititi. He directed Jojo Rabbit, or Jojo the Rabbit, whatever the name is. I haven't seen it.
Jojo the Rabbit?
Jojo Rabbit. Yeah, he got an Oscar.
Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Jojo Rabbit?
Have you seen it before?
I haven't even heard that before, but hey, I digress.
Yeah, he got an Oscar. So they wanted to take this direction of Thor being a little funnier, which you can clearly tell in Ragnarok. You can clearly tell.
So they want him funnier than what he was in Ragnarok, and with how he interacts with Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, okay.
Thor, and then that's the third one, and then now the fourth one, Thor. They let Taika Waititi, which is the director of the third one, it did very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Thor was good. I laughed a lot, which I didn't want to with Thor. I won that with Ant-Man or the Guardians of the Galaxy, not with a god. But it's fine. It worked. It was funny. It had a good ending. I like it. He had a villain he couldn't defeat. So the villain was defeated somewhere else. I love that a lot. I always love that. So it worked, whatever. So they wanted to let the director they gave the director way more leeway into making a movie that he wanted, which is just 100% comedy.
Oh.
The problem with Love and Thunder is this movie was so bad, it prioritized the jokes over absolutely everything in the goddamn movie. Nothing mattered. The stakes didn't matter. Eternity itself didn't matter. You didn't connect with anyone, number one. And number two, all these jokes, they weren't funny. I found myself in the theater, no joke, and I'm a huge MCU fan. I found myself in the theater just trying to find the joke funny. Like, how like a moment is uncomfortable and you try to like laugh to just kind of
ease it.
That's how it felt. The whole movie.
Because
they just went way overboard with the whole funny thing. And if it's funny, I get it. I went for a God movie, didn't get it, but I laughed my ass off. I get it. It's fine. But the whole time I was like,
so wait,
what am I watching?
So, all right. So we went and watched, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange had some very dry, funny moments, usually from, witty.
Doctor Strange was a mess, but at least you could connect with it.
Yeah. And there was some moments that were funny, but, there was more of it that was serious, especially, with Wanda going, crazy.
You don't take anything serious in Thor and Thunder.
So I'm like, so when I look at Thor hasn't had a villain up like the first two. The Destroyer was mindless. I don't
Oh,
remember the
the
second
Troy
one.
was a horrible villain.
You know, Ragnarok was okay, but you know, he told jokes with his sister, Helena. So it was like, oh, okay. And you know, there was parts of it that were funny.
In
And
Ragnarok?
in Ragnarok, yeah. Like,
I watched it again last week.
yeah,
I liked it
when
better.
he picked up the guy's skull and threw it in the eternal flame, and then she was talking crazy. He's like, yeah, and the dude was like, and the big guy was like, oh, he popped up and was like, oh, you know, Asgard, you're
And he
doomed.
fought him at the beginning.
Yeah, and I was like,
I think.
okay. I was like, all right. And he was like, yeah, you go ahead and defeat that. And it was like, it was campy. There was some jokes to it. I don't know how Love and Thunder is. I think Love and Thunder, the only thing I saw that I was kind of like intrigued with when they showed it on the trailer was the mighty Thor, which would allow what Jane Foster to be the power of Thor.
Oh my god, that's another thing. There's not, besides Christian Bale, there's not one thing you can take out of this movie. And they even messed up Christian Bale too, because they got Christian Bale, great actor, and he got a great character. Perfect combination. Whatever you make him do, he'll do it amazing.
Okay.
And then after that, that's it. He's not like a bigger villain. He's just a villain for Thor, and then
he doesn't.
You forget him.
Yeah, because he didn't go.
So
on
they didn't even
else.
use him well. That movie's so upsetting.
I think
that was $250 million just down the drain.
It furthers the Marvel universe. I think
it really does.
You know, let me ask you this: thus far, out of all the villains in the MCU, who do you feel has been the most lackluster and failed villain in the entire MCU thus far?
Probably the Dark Elves.
The Dark Elves?
Yeah, they were BS.
Okay. I'm gonna say the greatest villain I thought who should have been utilized far better, but just had the greatest disparity would have to be the Red Skull.
Oh, you mean like a great villain that they could have done something way better with that they really didn't?
They didn't.
The thing with those faces of Marvel, you're right. You're probably right, and you know way more about.
I'm thinking about Mephisto. I'm thinking about Darkseid. You know, not Darkseid, but Dark. Oh, let me go ahead and grab it. But yeah. So
should we cut off now?
We can. Hey, I'm all the way up here. I'm all the way up here.
Camera's right there.
It's right here.
Hey. Yes. It's up to you. If you want, you can go and come back.
You know what?
The audience can wait. The 3 people who watch us can wait because I've been watching the views.
Yeah, there we go.
Just go.
Hey,
just
like
go. No. I'll continue. Just go. Go. So, anyways, Thor: Love and Thunder was BS. Richardo needs some personal stuff to take care of. It'll take 5 seconds. He'll be right back. So, anyways, Love and Thunder everything was BS. Natalie Portman, great actress, obviously. I didn't connect with her. No one did. I feel like they were pushing agendas a little too much with the whole King Valkyrie, Mighty Thor, Taika Waititi saying everyone's got a little queer in them. I feel like they were just pushing too much. They were trying to focus on anything that didn't have to do with the actual movie, that didn't have anything to do with Thor. It was just... I don't know. It was just not the best movie. So I feel like the villain, Christian Bale, he plays Gore the God Butcher. That was actually the villain I've been looking up to the most. I've been looking forward to the most, I'm sorry. Besides, obviously, Mephisto or Catan, because he's related to Scarlet Witch. So you see him come at the beginning. Great intro, by the way, but even the tone of the movie is set incorrectly for the beginning. But anyways, you see a great actor, great villain, and then at the end of the movie, he's gone, and that's it. So I feel like they really underutilized him. Christian Bale, he did an amazing performance, but I just don't like the way that the Thor character has been used up lately. It's just too comedic. You can't take him seriously. Ragnarok had, I would say, the absolute limit to what MCU funny should be like. Like, if you make it more funny like that, more funny than that, I won't take it seriously and I won't care. And Love and Thunder crossed that by like 3 times. So, I mean, I didn't think it was okay. I've never loved the Thor movies. Never have. maybe never will. And at the same time, oh hey, he's back. But at the same time, I love his character. Like
Which
the
one?
idea of Thor, I love his character. It's just that the movies have always been BX.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that they have such an easy, hey, make a movie about a god and he's a superhero and he cares about people. Like, well, how can you mess that up? I just don't, I don't see how.
You're pretty focused on him being a god. Like,
because he's not like Iron Man, he's a human.
yeah.
Captain America, he's a human.
There's a peak. Like,
so the three leaders were Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Iron Man and Captain America, at the end of the day, they're human.
Okay.
This is an actual god. Like Peter Parker said, we used to see Thor in the mythology classes, and now we see him as an actual elective that you can just take as just regular culture in our country. So he was a god. I mean, like this king of all these things, and now you want to make him a parody of
he's accessible. Okay. I feel that.
I don't know. And bro, they have Chris Hemsworth, they have Natalie Portman, Christian Bale, and you want to throw them down the drain like that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who else was whoever Zeus was my man from
oh yeah, I know. I can't remember
Russell Crowe.
Right there you go.
Russell Crowe.
I mean, he wasn't in the movie for that long.
Yeah, I figured.
But I did like his character, and he has a lot to do in the end credits.
Well, fair enough.
It's about 30 minutes. Oh wait, you have.
I got nothing else. Hey, yeah.
I will watch.
He's not my favorite. He's not my favorite MCU character.
I like him a lot. He's not my favorite.
I'm amazing. I'm really more. I'm really definitely feeling Blade. Blade is my favorite MCU character.
I want to see his shows. Does he have shows out on Disney Plus?
Blade? Anything? No, you got to go back and watch.
He got movies.
Yeah, Blade 1, 2.
There were movies.
Yeah, Blade 1 and 2. Blade 1 and 2.
He's making a comeback in the MCU.
Yeah, that's official. I don't know how that's gonna go, but Blade 1, then Blade 2.
I think he's part of the Midnight Suns too.
I saw that part with Midnight Suns.
Oh, I'm looking forward to
and
that.
I saw that
you know the building up to the Midnight Suns, right?
Yeah, and
you got Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, he joins later, but still.
Yeah, and
you got Blade.
And then they're fighting Lilith. They're fighting Lilith, and
but that one hasn't been introduced.
But that's gonna be interesting because is that gonna incorporate? Because you know what, that's another character they didn't do right. I ain't trying to knock Nicholas. I'm not trying to knock Nicolas Cage, but when the whole thing with the Ghost Rider, real missed opportunity.
I haven't seen that in so. I watched it when it came out, and that says I don't
first
really
movie,
remember.
The first movie was like, oh okay. Second movie was like, it was just weird writing camera angle. That's all it was, and I'm like,
and Ghost Rider is pretty powerful.
Yeah, Ghost Rider.
Well, he actually made not a cameo. He was actually in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
He was in it.
He was actually in it, and
I don't think it was played by Nicolas Cage.
No, it was his newer incarnation played by I think he was like a Mexican, the kid who a Mexican kid or a kid from California who took over the mantle. Oh, and it was when he had the car and he went, but he's a newer incarnation.
I know he's pretty powerful.
Yeah, no, he's like,
I've never really. He's part of the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, he's part of Midnight Suns.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
they're definitely building up to Midnight Suns.
That would be interesting to see if they do that. I don't know about movie wise, but they'll probably do that like show wise. But are you really gonna have a TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch and the chick who plays Wanda and
Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah.
So you
keep up with all that, man. But
all right, everybody. You guys have a good one. We'll have another drink for another podcast. I'm just kidding. I don't know if you'll agree to that.
This man don't even got his contact lenses in good yet.
It's a learning curve. You said it.
Y'all be good. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, do the whole 9. If you're not doing that, what you doing?
You're missing out. Let us know what you think. And skirt.
Is that necessary?